Holy cow, guys, Ripley just ordered a large pizza. He wants to give you a piece, but before he gives it to you, you must drop a like and subscribe. Hey man, I don't make the rules. That pizza do be looking kinda good though, not gonna lie. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to continue to look at theories for the Doomsday event, so let's get started. I saw this post on Reddit from the Dogwolf3019 who says, theory, the event is 2 days before the season begins, like the end event, but in the end event there was a blackout. Do you think there will be one like this during the device event? So basically he's asking if there's going to be some sort of transitional period into Chapter 2 Season 3 like there was into Chapter 2 Season 1. And no, I don't think we're going to get like a black hole thing, because number one, that was a conclusion to the entire first chapter of the storyline. That was a big thing, going to a completely new map. Also, yes, there are 2 days in between the seasons, and this was exactly how it was for that time, but it was originally planned to be like 5 days apart, and I don't think that has anything to do with it. I just think they wanted to put the season and the event as close together as possible because they're trying to start Season 3 as fast as they can. They've already had several delays. They just want to get it out and in the hands of the players. So I saw 2 comments that were very similar on my last video. This first one from Duelmaster, who says, what if when the Visitor launched the rocket way back in Season 4, he was trying to get to this current island? And this one from Golden Present, who says, theory, when the rocket was using the rifts during the Season 4 event, it may have been teleporting to and from the Season X map. You know, that's a good question, and I don't know if anyone has ever talked about this or covered this, but it is a decent idea to bring up because the Visitor's plan all along was to do exactly what he concluded with in Season X. If he could have done that right from the get-go in Season 4, who knows what would have happened storyline-wise, but he didn't, and he had to work all the way until Season X to be able to finally accomplish at least a part of his true intentions for coming to the map in the first place. So here you're looking at footage of the rocket launch event from Season 4, and this may seem pretty familiar. I remember watching this in-game like it was just yesterday. So the rocket goes to the sky, then it aims down and tries to hit tilted towers. Remember, something very similar happened in the Season X event where the same little lasers in the sky look down upon Loot Lake where the 0 point was. Now, my theory is that the Visitor miscalculated where the 0 point was in the ground. He was awfully close, he was just a little south of where he needed to go, but my guess is he wasn't actually trying to hit tilted, he just miscalculated, and that's what caused this entire sequence of the rocket going around the map, in and out of different portals, and then finally reappearing at the center of Loot Lake, shooting into the sky and creating that giant rift that was in the sky for the entire rest of the season, plus Season 5. Whatever power he was using to activate these rifts must not have been fully strong enough to transport the Visitor back to the other map, if that was indeed where he was trying to go at the start. And it also begs the question, is the Visitor from the part of the universe that we're in now with the current island? And, you know, because his name is the Visitor, was he just visiting our map and then kind of messed up his way back home? Here's a comment on my last video from Jenna, who says, going back to the loading screen with the Chaos Agent, there was a screen with the Shadow logo and it also had Kevin the Cube on it. How would Chaos Agent know about Kevin unless he was originally from the Athena Island and he somehow traveled to the Apollo Island just like us? Here is that part of the specific loading screen he was referencing, so you can see the Shadow logo as well as Kevin the Cube in plain sight right on the monitors in front of the Chaos Agent, so it does make a good point. Chaos Agent, even though chronologically was never himself in Chapter 1 as far as we know, knew about the events of Chapter 1 and in some way may have still been associated. I know this is kind of an outlandish theory, but it's one that I just thought of. Is it possible that because the Visitor got stuck himself in our old map for a very long time, that the people on the other side were kind of tracking him to see if they could figure out a way to help him come back? Maybe he was in some way communicating with them, and the Chaos Agent, looking over all of these different parts of the old map and new map combined, could in a way be an effort to see what's going on between both worlds to help each other communicate on how to get back, as well as hints for the future. Chaos Agent has been a very mysterious character all throughout his time in Fortnite, a very unique character in the sense that he was referenced before he even came out, even before the new chapter came out, and he has progressively become a bigger and bigger part of the storyline as we have progressed. Saw this on Reddit today from user rsondo, who says, "My theory for the Doomsday event. As you can see, rsondo has each one of the 5 hatches around the agency targeting a different shadow base, which I think is actually a possible outcome of this event and definitely is interesting. Now you might be thinking, well, Dr. P, there are more bases than just this for Shadow, and you'd be right, there are plenty of places all scattered around the map, but I'd say it definitely is funny how each one of these hatches almost completely lines up with another one of these bases around the map, and it would make sense for the agency to want to attack the opposite side, which is Shadow. Nobody knows what those hatches around the agency are for. There's plenty of things I could think of. Is it just some sort of exhaust pipe for the Doomsday device, which is underneath the agency? Is it going to be a contributor to the flood? Is it going to help expel water? Is it going to help to control the storm? Or are they going to fire some kind of missile at different shadow bases around the map? It's definitely a very interesting thing to think about, and only time will tell really. As it stands right now, we are 8.5 days away from the event. Here's another post by user Chibi Nintendo, who says, "This theory doesn't really have anything to do with the storyline, but I kind of feel like Shadow is actually the good guys. Kind of like those cliches in movies where a good guy turns out to have bad intentions, while the bad guys turn out to have good intentions. So far as I'm aware, Shadow hasn't really done anything bad except blow up the rig. Ghost, on the other hand, has kicked Meowscles off his yacht, turned the shark into a prison, and Ghost Midas is the one that actually has the Doomsday device. It also feels like Fortnite wants us to choose Shadow by releasing Shadow skins into the item shop, while most of the Ghost skins are in the Chapter 1 Season 1 Battle Pass. The whole part about Shadow possibly being the good guys and the Ghost Squad possibly being the bad guys is definitely a very interesting one, because we still really don't know any of the real intentions behind what these two sides are fighting over. Now, I will say it's worth pointing out that in the game's files, literally the Ghost and Shadow henchmen are referred to as good and bad exclusively within the game's internal coding. That's not a joke, that's straight from Epic, so it does say good and bad based on who you are as a henchman, which again is worth pointing out, but at the end of the day, we still have no idea exactly what Shadow stands for and what Ghost stands for, and really who's right in the debate, because until we find out more information, that's just going to be something that we're stuck on. Also, the theory did point out that there are a lot of things that you can point the finger towards the Ghost side for in terms of destruction so far this season, and that's just another piece of evidence to put into the file about why the good guys might actually be Shadow. If I had to guess, I'd say the Ghost faction is probably the good guys, but we'll never really know until we actually get clarity, which is awesome about the way Fortnite has their seasons and their storyline. They never really give anything away directly, and even when they do, they open the door for tens more questions. So just a lot unsolved in Fortnite storyline history in general, which is kind of the way I like it. I hope you guys are hanging in there with the delayed season once again. I don't think we're going to get delayed again. I think we're going to be set in stone at June 15th for the event and June 17th for the new season. I know I'm really excited for the new content and the new stuff we're going to expect in Chapter 2 Season 3. The last 2 seasons have been so long. I mean, it's hard to believe. We're only going to be entering our 3rd season since the new chapter came out. If this was following the same pattern as early times in Fortnite, we probably would be entering our 4th or 5th season by this point. And I don't know, I guess my hype went down a little bit for the event once it got delayed again, but kind of like it always does, as we get closer, I know we're still more than a week away, but as we get closer, my hype starts to rebuild. And I know it's kind of strange because we've kind of had this rise and fall process of hype a lot in the last few weeks, but regardless, I know it's going to be a great event. There's no way they would have a bad event after going silent on all the storyline events for like 8 or 9 months, as well as delaying it as many times as they did. They must truly believe it's going to be really, really good, so when people finally get to see it, we have a lot of good things to say about it. At least that's what I hope. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all of your support. If you're new, make sure to drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and click that bell to be notified each and every time I upload on the channel. Make sure to use code PineapplesYT in the item shop to support me in my work. Of course, I would really appreciate that. I hope you have a really good day, and I'll catch you at my next upload. Peace out.